Gamers, with Ultimate Sharen just being released in the game, I wanted to take my time on her, make some builds, and also I've told you in the past that Sharen is probably one of the most important characters to have in the game because you get double loot in the outposts and it's easier to farm out those amorphous materials. So let's get into what we've been using. First off, let's talk about, can you kill bosses with Sharen? Well, I did a couple runs on Pyro, came up short, but then ended up getting the dub. This was kind of surprising. Even though he doesn't have a lot of health, it's just cool that you can go in there, stun him, drop him, and just spam your abilities nonstop and kill a boss. Now, I tried going in on Swamp Walker, got very close, but we all know that boss is annoying. If you don't stun the boss, you might not get full damage. But again, just want to show that even in team scenarios, I took this build into like an obstructor fight, and I was just easily putting up enough damage to help not only myself, but help the teammates get the dub as well. But first off, make sure you get the blue beetle fully maxed out. You don't need to roll certain perks, the stat perks on the weapon. I don't even have any mods on the weapon. I just use this as a stat stick weapon. So I'm carrying this around. So I'm using my abilities. So I'm proccing its unique ability. When using a fusion skill, it grants you the unique ability Arcane Energy with a set chance. Now, if you have this all the way maxed out, Arcane Energy will trigger 100% of the time. It lasts for 10 seconds and you get 115% skill critical hit rate. So pretty much all your Sharen abilities are just going to be non-stop critting, which is good for boss fights, right? Going into my reactor, I wanted to get a Colossus skill critical hit damage, but we all know reactor farming can be cruel sometimes. But I farmed for like 35-40 minutes, ended up getting a gold Colossus with fusion, and just so you know, it could be even better. Again, we were running the Slayer set because, you know, between Slayer and Annihilation, that's pretty much all you're running in this game, right? Weapons are up to you. I just never take off Enduring Legacy, and I've been leveling up Voltia, but pretty much if you are not using your abilities on Sharen, you could just have a swap weapon. Now let's talk about the module that you'll be using for this bossing build, and that's Area Suppression. This new Transcendent mod, it changes the skill to scatter short swords around. Each short sword deals independent damage. That's what you're spamming. You're going to spam that fourth ability, and when you don't have this up and you're on cooldown, you will be spamming the cutoff. But you also want to spam your camouflage, because when you come out of it, you'll be able to get the outgoing damage increase, the skill critical hit rate, and firearm if you're using it. I don't really use shock nuts much. You could do it to like stun an elite, but it's one chop and the boss dies anyway. An elite will die. Again, you're not just using this build just in boss fights. I actually ran some dungeons with it. It was okay, but when I made the other build, the one I'm going to show you next, I kind of thought that that one performed a little better because it was just easier than having to worry about, with this, staying alive. Now let's go through the modules real quick. HP, MP conversion is going to be paired with Nimble Fingers for your cooldowns. Focus on electric, cooldown again and getting that electric skill power. Focus on fusion, again, fusion skill power with cooldown. Emergency measures is going to be for your skill critical hit rate, but you're also going to take that 27% crit hit damage. Stacking this with your blue beetle is just going to help out. And then you have maximize conservation. The reason why I added this in is because of the skill cost, so you could spam on boss fights more. I did have a range mod on here or another skill insight, and I was just like, man, I was running out of MP in boss fights. So if you really want to put out that damage when the boss gets down because you're using Dangerous Ambush, I felt like you needed more skill cost and you need to be able to spam more. So that mod's totally up to you. And then we have skill concentration for our skill critical hit damage, so we get more juice, and then pair that with the front lines, getting more skill critical hit damage. You don't have to run these mods. You could switch off whatever you want, but I just felt like I tested out a lot of this. I even had a range mod on, and I just felt like this would help me the most, and it was how I got my successful pyro kill. So again, take this, use it, or switch out whatever mod you want. Now let's talk about this ambush transcendent mod build. This is the AoE build. I mean, I literally finished a 400% dungeon today, and afterwards it said I had negative 1.9 billion damage, and I was like, what is that? But it just, everything that you're hitting with your slash or your stun, you're doing millions of damage each attack, and it's probably just adding it all up. This build is a lot of fun. The Void Vessel, you guys know when you're running Void Vessel and there's 4 people in the fire team and you make it to the end, yeah, that boss kind of gets melted with this kind of build. And 400% dungeon bosses don't even stand a chance. I melted them, especially when they're right next to each other and you could double hit them. That's just free. This build definitely seems like a lot of fun, and you can use it all around the game. Even when you're doing outposts, you might have to put a little bit more duration on for your skill stay invis in the outposts, you know, to activate your camouflage. But other than that, I think this is a well all-around build. Nothing really changes with this setup. You're still going to be running a full Slayer set. The reactor for this build, I chose to get skill critical hit damage, so I could always see those big numbers. I got range. Range helps me a little bit, but I would like to see me get gold range and see if it helps, or gold fusion to get that damage boost. But again, everything's just going to die. The numbers are just too high. There's not much that's really staying alive through your attack. Same thing here. You're going to use blue beetle. You don't have to run any mods on it unless yours is already leveled up, but please make sure that you have arcane wave upgraded all the way. If not, go on the website 30th anniversary or the winter event and use those free parts. Pretty much you need this to make the build work and hit these high damage numbers. Going into the mods, we have ambush. The Transcendent mod modifies so that killing an enemy in active camouflage returns the user to the same state. In active camouflage, agility increases and shock bomb skill is converted to an attack skill. So that's what this is now. Frangible rounds. This is what's giving you all this crazy damage. So pretty much what I do is I spam my camouflage, spam my rounds, spam my cutoff beam, and I actually use my ult sometimes too. The short swords actually do good damage with these mods that you're running. Same thing. What's nice about this build is you're only swapping out 2 mods. So you're running the same mods as the boss DPS build, and you're only changing 2 here. So we're going to run HP, we're going to run MP conversion and nimble fingers for our cooldowns, focus on fusion electric for our cooldowns on our flat damage, concentration, emergency measures, and front lines for our crit. Then we're going to be swapping over to skill effect range. Then we're going to be swapping over to skill expansion so we can have more range on our frangible rounds. This is what's giving you a bigger radius so you get more kills. And then this last one's up to you. I chose HP collector because I'm always getting in enemies' faces. I didn't want to die. Mods really well. But if you want to put on dangerous ambush because you're always in camouflage, you will do more damage, but everything kind of just dies already. So I feel like this is the safer route. So if you want to switch it out, do whatever. It's the same socket. Makes it simple. And again, just have fun with this. I'm actually gonna be playing Sharen a lot more, especially in my like dungeon runs, and just switching it up so you're not always on Bunny or Freyna. It's good to see a new character come in and get the buff that she deserves and give us some diversity. Hopefully you guys enjoyed these builds. Enjoy them. I'm gonna keep making content on First Descendant. We love this game, right? I got some more stuff coming up soon, maybe some Viesa stuff or update some old builds. Thanks for watching the videos, and I'll see you guys next time. Yeah, tomorrow. Oh, I didn't pre-charge. Oh shit. I wasn't recording, but I just hit the thing.